So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for the coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? That's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pushing till I'm falling, slipping together. never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Friday, October 3rd. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. We're going to stream probably until market close and maybe a little bit past market close today. Maybe we get some interesting end of day price action on GameStop today, like we did yesterday on Bed Bath & Beyond. But at the moment, it is down 4%, $26.08. And then after hours, the one thing that I'm going to be watching for is that other little AI, very speculative OTC ticker that I've been talking to you guys about for a couple months. It finally got a little price bump today. It's up 24%. And I'm hoping that someone knows something and that this is a precursor to news dropping after hours. I don't think there's been any official news on Railtown, but when you see a 24% price jump, even though it's a low volume ticker, doesn't take much to move it, but someone's been buying today and nobody's been selling it back off or running arbitrage on it. This ticker trades in Canada under the ticker RAIL and in the US OTC as RLAIF. And sometimes, you know, if we were to get too bullish buying in the US, they might arb it down over in Canada. So, you know, I'm just pointing out it is up today, and we'll be watching to see if there is any news drop after hours today. I'm crossing fingers. What else? GameStop down. So it's down $1. Bed Bath & Beyond is up about 3%, $12.81. Tesla is down about the same as GameStop today, about 4%. Our cinema stocks, of course, they're all green except AMC. Nothing new there. AMC did have a nice run up yesterday, but it's given back 8 cents. And in general, the overall markets, the Dow green, S&P green, NASDAQ red, still in a government shutdown as far as I know. And let's see, gold is slightly down, silver. I'm looking at the baskets on the top here. Gold junior miner basket slightly down, silver junior mining basket slightly up. And Hycroft is at 627. So we're all caught up on some of the meme stocks. So let's finish off the meme stock list. These are all tickers that I am not trading. Bed Bath & Beyond, $12. Open, $8.21. Quantum is up 2.5% today, $18.55, and GNS down 3% at 96. All right, I think we covered the whole gamut of them. Really, what I have up on my big screens here is GameStop and Railtown. That's kind of what I want to watch into the market close. Fidget Spinner says this price action ain't what the bulls said it would be. I know, I mean, there's been a lot of good debate. There have been, I think, some, as I look at all of social media, there have been some kind of realist type investors that say, I expect it to get knocked down. And then, of course, the bulls will say, no, it's going to squeeze to unimaginable heights because of the warrants and everyone is married to a share and blah, blah, blah. You know how they be. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. We'll find out, I think, between now and middle of next week. And maybe, you know, maybe we get a little interesting price action at the end of the day here today, like Bed Bath & Beyond yesterday. That would be cool with me. Kenneth says AMC is relaxing its rules, encouraging Swifties to sing and dance at the Taylor Swift screening this weekend. That is correct. Is that why AMC is trending down? No, I think, you know, anyone who could look at the box office for Q3 can see that AMC is going to book a loss for Q3. And so we've got to digest that into our expectations for the price. Yes, Q4 is going to be good. But we got two things weighing down AMC. They're out of shares. They have no cash raisability should they need it. They have no emergency parachute. They have a proxy vote coming up to address that problem, which could mean more authorized shares, potentially more dilution. I don't know. We'll find out when they release the proxy. But I think the specter of this proxy and the Q3 loss are kind of holding the stock back right now. And the market probably wants to see, just like I want to see, what's on that proxy before we lay down any money on AMC. I don't want to be piling my money into AMC and then they say, oh, we need another 500 million shares. I don't know what they're going to say, but since I can't quantify the risk, I don't want to be dabbling in it right now. When I can quantify the risk, then I might have a different opinion. And even if they propose a vote, there were people arguing in the comments, it's not a guarantee of dilution. I agree, because there's no guarantee that people will vote for it. They might vote against it. But then again, if that happens, that to me also would be kind of bearish, because you have a quarter or two of short liquidity, you know, run down the cash, and you get in trouble real quick. I think they have like 400 million in cash on the balance sheet, minus whatever cash burn there is this quarter. Oh, no. They raised a little bit in July. Let me walk that back. Remember, they did add about 200 million from that refinancing in July. So don't get confused by what stockanalysis.com shows, because there was a little bit of a cash raise. All right, Robert says the price action makes 0 cents for GameStop. He says, who the hell would have sold right before the record date? The record date was 8 p.m. Eastern yesterday. And yes, I understand your question. Who sold at the end of the day yesterday? I don't know. What I do know is that there is a lot of big money in this play. It's not the same stock we were trading a year or two ago. There are roughly $4 billion worth of institutions invested in convertible bonds. There's other volatility players in this stock. And I don't pretend to be able to guess what they're going to do, although a lot of very bullish people know exactly what they're going to do, apparently. My general theory is expect the unexpected, because for most of us, it's very difficult to get in the mind of an institutional trader or a bond trader. I've been trying to walk you guys to that line to get you in the mind of how these institutions and bond traders think. It's not like us. But it's, I know I'm going to have to drag some people along kicking and screaming. I would say whatever you have thought about GameStop and how you understood the play over the last 1, 2, 3 years is very likely subject to, might need some revision in terms of who the players are and what their motivations are. I don't claim to have it all figured out, but I don't think it is what it was before. Wedmore says, despite past lack of success and poor decisions, this time it wasn't me. The other thing I wonder, Robert, do you think anyone knew that GameStop was going to drop an updated S3? Let's talk about that real quick. I've seen a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth over this updated S3 this morning. It does, I agree, it seems like inconvenient timing. If you wanted to spin the story as a bear that Ryan Cohen is once again stopping a short squeeze, a warrant squeeze, then you might say this is suspicious. And I'm, who am I to guess? But let me just give you a couple logical, common sense things of why I'm not looking at it like that. Number one, when you file an S3, it's generally good for 3 years. And if we look here on GameStop, we look on GameStop and we just search for S3s. I mean, they had filed one May of 2024. So that was already good till May 2027. Same mixed shelf, common, preferred, depository shares, warrants, contracts, units, and rights. I'll go over what was changed in just a second, but this is what we call a mixed shelf. Companies do this because they can get maximum flexibility with least administrative headache and cost. Just cover all your bases. Here's all the shit we might offer. One filing, good for 3 years. If we decide to offer any of these, we'll drop a prospectus. It's an unlimited shelf offering up to the limits of anything that has limits, like Class A common stock has a 1 billion shares limit, and preferred stock, whatever it is, I don't know, 5 million or 50 million. I don't recall. And then the rest of these, you can kind of make up your own numbers. So this was already there. I mean, whatever they announced today was nothing really new. If you're mad that he announced dilution, then you were, I guess, unaware that there's already been unlimited dilution on the table since May of 2024. So I'm not upset that he dropped this, but I do want to kind of whittle down into why might he have done it. And I think I've seen some good theories. I had a few theories of my own. And so let's talk about that real quick. What is different on today's filing? They added debt securities. So before now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different type of, not equities, but what am I trying to think of? Securities. And before we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they added debt securities. It just kind of greases the skid. If they decide that they want to issue more debt at any point in the next 3 years, then now they've already got it pre-advisoried to the SEC. The other thing that I noticed as I was looking at this, like 5:30 this morning, I quickly read through it all. I was familiar with the other one, and I just sped read through it. I didn't use a compare tool. I might not have found everything, but a couple things jumped out at me real quick, and that is that they updated the risks in the forward-looking statements. So you might be affected by a variety of risks. And most of those risks that they updated have to do with the convertible notes. Remember, that didn't exist back in 2024. And here's more on convertible notes. There was one in here. We might have compliance requirements if we're deemed an investment company act. We've been talking about, are they going to become an investment company, or what are they going to do with all this money? So they disclosed that risk. They disclosed the risk about Bitcoin. Those are all new. Those were not on the previous version. And maybe they're just doing a administrative update. And if they are, it's a little weird with the timing. So my second thought is perhaps they're doing it just to have everything, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed before they distribute the warrants on Tuesday. Hang on one second. The wife has a question. All right, back to you guys. Tindy time. What is up, man? How's your kiddo doing? Long time no see. How old's that baby now, Tindy? About 2 years old? Chris's Concert Corner says, I would not be surprised at all to see the GME in the 25s today. Just saying. I hope not, Chris. I am not anticipating that, but my crystal ball is a little bit fuzzy. Kenneth says Bitcoin hit all-time high this morning, but GME is not following. Yeah, we kind of have seen that GameStop got disconnected from moving with Bitcoin. That's a fact. Tindy says Tony, a Massalorian stream is needed. Me and Mediocre both have been reaching out to Massalorian, and he will occasionally text us back and say, hey, I'll give you a call when I'm free. I'm working right now. And then we never hear back. And you know, I'm not going to bug him. I've reached out to him several times. He's answered me back several times, but we never can connect other than playing phone tag. But we would love to have him back on and hear what the heck he's been doing for the last year or 2 years, however long it's been. Last time I talked to him, he was coming back to the U.S. from his Canada trip, and that's been a while. Fidget Spinner says, I can't believe how low a level AMC are running along on cash. I know that Q4 will be good, but regardless, surely it's a very risky behavior. I don't think that it is by their wish. They literally are out of shares. I mean, they did what they could. And now they're going to pray that if they propose more shares and they need more cash, that people will approve it. Fuji, apple, pear, Celsius is what we got. What we got today. I needed a little caffeine because I didn't go to sleep till like midnight last night, and then I was up at 5. So. AA says, hook up with Jeremy. You mean the budget for life guy? That Jeremy? Mr. Double A. I've watched a couple of his videos. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. It's good to see a somewhat reasonable CFA. I believe he's a CFA, right? Covering GameStop. We got way too many people that don't have any ability to do real financial analysis covering the stock. So I'm encouraged by him joining the YouTube community. However, he did say one thing that bothered me when someone asked him what should GameStop do with the cash, and he said they should go buy Bed Bath & Beyond because of the Knowles. I was like, oh no. Oh, no, Jeremy, no. I had to just like bail before I threw my monitor on the ground. Like, he went from in my mind, somebody who had very reasonable and rational analysis, maybe a little more bullish than me, but when he said go buy the defunct, bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond, BBBYQ, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, do you really believe that? Because that maybe I'm missing something, but it undermines a lot of credibility. I want GameStop to put their cash to use in a merger or acquisition that fundamentally changes earnings, ROIC, ROE, ROA, and earnings, so we can revalue the company. And he was on the right track talking about how, if earnings grow and this grow and that grow, we could have a higher valuation. I was all right with him until he got to the part about spending the cash on BBBYQ. And I had to say, nope. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't have Jeremy on. He seems like a normal guy, unlike a lot of the YouTubers out there that you could actually have a conversation with and have him not hate you 30 seconds later. He seems like a guy that could have a discussion like an adult, not like a fifth grader, if you know what I mean. Richie Rich, how you doing? He says, are the warrants locked in, or would you lose one warrant if you sold 10 shares today? To my understanding, Richie, as long as you were holding it as late as 8 p.m. Eastern last night, when after hours closed, you are now on the record as the record holder, and you should be able to sell today because it won't T+1 out of your account till Monday. So you should, I mean, and the stock is trading ex-dividend. Today is ex-dividend. That means the dividend has already been factored out of the share price. That's what it means, right? You guys that have been here, you know, we've been talking about expect a little bit of downward price action when the dividend is distributed, because whenever any cash or warrant dividends are distributed in any ticker, the price is always adjusted down by the value of the ticker, by the value of the dividend. And that's very straightforward if you have a cash dividend, be it 15 cents, 30 cents, or $3, your price will be adjusted down on the ex-dividend date of the stock. This one is a little more tricky because what is the warrant worth, right? So we've been trying to guesstimate what is the warrant worth. And at about 28 bucks, I was saying the warrant would probably be worth about $5, $4 to $5. And at $25 GameStop price, a warrant would be worth maybe $3.50. Divide that by 10 because it covers 10 shares. So it would not be unusual in my mind for GameStop to be knocked down today by 30 to 50 cents. But clearly we got some other stuff going on here besides that. We just don't have, we have more selling pressure than we have buying pressure for whatever reason. Shorts coming back in. We kind of dabbled yesterday talking about that might happen. The shorts might come back in. They might have cleared out, closed, bought to close, drove the price up. They don't want to fuck around with the warrant. Now they can come back in. They don't got to mess around with the warrant today. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential theories. I don't know that I have the magic one answer, but there could be several things at play here. Jockstrap says, do you foresee unmitigated boning of GameStop on Monday? You know, unmitigated? No. Could it trade back down to where we were before all this on the 9th, like in the 24? Well, shit, we were at 23.5. Could it find its way back down to 23.5 over a period of weeks? I mean, that would not surprise me. I'm not calling for that to happen. We've only got one red candle on the chart and maybe a second one today. But I mean, if you start getting 3 or 4 red candles, I'm going to have, and we break through this supply zone, we're probably going back down. I'm not making that call yet. But I'm also not calling for a warrant short squeeze. It's kind of, we're in uncharted territory here. And like I said, these big institutional investors, I don't think anyone out there on social media knows what they are going to do. And it's just been a lot of hope and hopium. And I wish that they are correct, but they might not be. So. The Spiz says, I don't know if you covered this, but why can't I see the option chain on GME on Fidelity? I haven't logged into my Fidelity account, Mr. Spiz. However, we have covered this on several tweets and several live streams. You need to make sure in your broker that you have turned on in the filters for your option screen. Make sure non-standard is turned on. I want you to notice what happens here on GameStop when I turn this off. All the options go away. Because today, any pre-existing option is now non-standard GME1. And I don't own any options on GameStop right now, but I understand from people who've messaged me that they are on position close only. And it looks like in general, most of them are in the red. I saw someone tweeting that his calls are on on fire today. I'm like, what are you looking at? All I see is a sea of red here on the call options. That should change if you're stuck with position close only. I think that once the warrants are distributed on the 7th, that maybe by the 8th, these should be taken off of position close only and have normal trading going on. If you are seeing from your broker that it's position close only, maybe check with them and see if they expect that to change. I expect it to change next week. And then next week after the warrant distribution, we will also see the regular options chain GME come back. Right now, no standard options. And I don't think Bed Bath & Beyond has any either, do they? Nope. Or do they? Looks like they do. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyonds are already back. So maybe by Monday, because yesterday it was only BBBY1. Today we got regular options without the Bed Bath & Beyond warrant. So maybe by Monday you get your GameStop regular options chain back. So yeah, check for non-standard options and make sure that box is turned on. Anna says, if we do not approve for more shares for AMC, right, would that help with the squeeze? AA would not be able to drop the share and kill the price. I think, Anna, the optimal time, if we're thinking about a squeeze like that, would be between now and the day of the vote. And let me lay out for you why. If there were some catalyst or retail momentum or someone decided to start trying to squeeze the shorts in AMC for whatever reason, AMC cannot kill that run up because they are out of shares, right? But being out of shares also hamstrings the company's ability. They have no emergency exit if they have a bad quarter. They have no way to fix the balance sheet if the price ever were to run up in the future and they wanted to sell some shares. They are basically effed. I'm sorry. Someone said I cursed too much last night because I said the F word twice in 2 hours. So my apologies if that was you, Anna. I'm trying to be better today. AMC, just like in 2023, they're going to be punished by the market if they have an upside down balance sheet, more debt than assets, and no ability to fix it. So your question is, if they don't approve more shares, would that help with the squeeze? I'm going to say the same thing that made people mad in 2023 that they still complain about today, these popcorn project people who don't know how to read a balance sheet and a cash flow statement. AMC is approaching dangerous territory with their liquidity. And if you handcuff them, that is good for these shorts. It puts AMC in a box they cannot get out of. They're one bad quarter away from getting foreclosed on, if you see what I'm saying. I don't know if there are any more bad quarters. It's a little better now looking at next year than it was looking at 2023. But it does put them over a barrel of being very low on cash and 100% dependent on box office with no emergency exit, no get out of jail free card, no ability to raise cash. So I don't know, if people vote against a additional share authorization. I think that also works right into the bears camp. If I was a bear, I'd be happy. AMC's losing money. The balance sheet is upside down. They're low on cash, and they have zero ability to help themselves. Does that seem bullish to you? Does that, I mean, I don't know how you short squeeze it. After you vote against more share authorization, how do you short squeeze it? Because the bears are like, we won. It's just tick-tock now. The game is over. It's just run the clock out. Run the clock out till they run out of cash. Cancel Bubble says, technically AMC is not out of shares. They're out of meaningful shares. Yeah, 1 million is what they have left. You're correct. When I say out of shares, it is about 1 million. And there are other shares that are available, but they're spoken for. They're reserved for the convertible bonds or exchangeable notes, whatever you want to call it. So essentially, they're out of shares. You know, if they wanted to sell 10 or 20 million, not going to happen. 1 million shares is just not enough to help them out unless the price ran up to $100, $200. Anyways, I'm trying not to have too many conversations about AMC and the upcoming vote until we actually see what is on the proxy, because people are going to get all wrapped around the axle worrying about stuff which we can't quantify yet. But I do think it is important that you realize that that is coming. If you need to change your trading plan or put a hedge in place, put some insurance in place in case what is proposed is not what you're thinking. Hopefully I don't need to spell this out for you, what insurance you could put in place. And maybe, you know, a lot of people are just going to roll the dice and say, I don't have any money to buy insurance. I'm going to roll the dice and hope for the best and count on a great 2025, 2026. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. We'll talk about that when we see the proxy. GameStop down now 4.3%, trading down $1.18, 26.04. We got what, an hour and 20 minutes left on the day. Bed Bath & Beyond up to 12.05, up 2.5%. And Railtown still hanging out comfortably at 55 cents. Did anybody come here today just for Railtown? If you have any Railtown questions, don't be bashful. Don't worry, I'm not going to go off into a rant about somebody's religion or if they're female, like some of the other YouTubers do. I'm just here to talk about stocks and hang out and have a good time. Hopefully, between you and me together, we can learn something from each other. You guys teach me stuff. Sometimes I teach you stuff. And for sure, by having the dialogue and the questions back and forth, we can air out a lot of different theories and questions and learning. If you have a question, you know, there's probably 10 other people watching that have the same question. There are no bad questions. Richie says those charging AMC 15% interest rates must be confident. Yeah, AMC is just a victim of bad timing, Richie Rich, and a bad credit rating. And even worse, I don't know if Anna knows this, but if shareholders vote against more shares in December, the interest rates go up even more. Can you imagine? You know, these guys on YouTube that have been telling you AMC got a debt reduction. I mean, by my calculations, the debt payment is going up in Q3. I don't know what these guys are looking at. It'll go up again in Q1 if people don't vote for what AMC is proposing. There is penalties built into the July debt deal for AMC. If the shareholder vote is not approved, the debt interest rates will go up and AMC will have to pay cash penalties to the note holders, like $15, $20, $30 million cash penalties. It's going to be punishing if that vote is not approved. Punishing to the company and to shareholders. Blessed Beyond Measure says, do you follow Finger or RZLV? I'm not sure what the second one is. I definitely follow Finger. I swing trade Finger maybe once a year. Most of the Finger traders hate me because I tell you guys when it's topped out and why I'm exiting. And, you know, they always think it's going 100 times higher than that. So they think that I'm killing the squeeze. You can see my last buys on Finger were down here around $1 in December. And then I started tweeting as it was running up to $4 or $5. Hey, guys, you know, we're up 300, 400, 500%. Might be a good time to take some of your profits. Man, you go back and look at the tweets and the comments from me talking about this in May, you would think I was the devil incarnate. He works for the shorts. Don't listen to him. I called it exactly correct. All it did was go down after that. And then the company diluted, which I also said was going to happen. I don't know how many times we have to get stuff right before people quit saying that I'm the devil. Finger's not a company to trade based on financials or fundamentals. It is a retail FOMO swing trade only. And you must be very smart about getting a cheap entry and then be patient, because it will get pumped again. And one day, I don't hate Finger. Of all of the retail stocks, these little stocks, like I'm not saying GME and AMC, but of all the little retail stocks, this one actually is one of the best. As in, they actually have a chance at becoming a profitable company. But it's still early. And if I ever see that, you know, I can say, hey, the financials look like they've turned the corner on Finger, then I will say that. But right now, I just call it a swing trade only stock, not a buy and hold. Not for any redeeming value on the company. They're just, it's too early to invest in Finger. It can be a fine swing trade for people who can manage risk and understand the risk. Not for everybody. I got to add so many caveats these days because everybody's looking for someone to blame for their decisions. I love value trading. I love profitable companies, blue chips with a long history, 10, 20 years of growing revenues, growing profits, and dividends. But I speculate also. I day trade, I swing trade, but not with my entire account. I think, you know, if you're speculatively trading your entire position in one company, you're one bad announcement away from getting wiped out. Maybe you get lucky. Sometimes we get lucky, but luck is not a strategy. So if I'm taking entries in these speculative stocks, you can just understand that as I'm not betting my entire account on it. I'm betting, and I call it a bet. It's not even an investment. I'm betting what I'm willing to lose. Truly, you will not hear me cry, complain, curse out a CEO, blame anybody else. I won't blame brokers, FINRA. I will only blame myself for not reading the chart correctly, bad timing, inability to exit the position when I should have, and hopefully learn from that and move on. But if I lose the money, it's not a big deal, because it's not my core position. It's a speculative bet, which if you have good trading rules around those, can juice your portfolio a little bit. Spiz says luck is the only strategy I have. Well, we're going to bless you and send you good luck. Much, much, much good luck. Chris says everyone is too hyped up about GameStop, and I'm so glad I refrained from the FOMO. God bless you. Down 5% now. Do you guys think that one guy, I mean, he went at me on Twitter for a full 24, he went at me for 2 days. And then he said, why do you keep on talking about this? I'm like, you're the one that keeps like trying to prove your point to me. You're going to text me something, I'm going to try and answer you back because apparently you want to have a conversation. He promised me it was going to squeeze today. I gave him till the middle of October. I said, I'll check in with you middle of October. He's like, oh, see, you're trying to give yourself an out, Tony. I was like, no, I'm trying to give you an out. I'm trying to give you 2 extra weeks for you to be correct that it'll squeeze. He's like, no, it's going to squeeze on October 3rd for sure. Do you think he'll send me a note today at the end of the day? I wonder. Generally, these people, I never hear back from them. Never hear back from them. Chris says, I've made 1,500 swing trading GameStop since they reported earnings. Great job. And for any of you that are watching, some of y'all were messaging me asking about the wisdom of selling covered calls. Right now, I mean, this seems like that was an excellent choice. I know there's YouTubers out there trying to talk y'all out of selling covered calls because they think it's going to $500 tomorrow. I mean, we could have made bank on covered calls this week. Sell the covered call, a reasonable strike, lock in that premium, instant money in your account, and you still have your shares at the end of the day today. Bonus, cha-ching, we call that the Wall Street ATM. Don't trade options if you don't know what you're doing, though. And generally, I would say don't sell covered calls below your basis. Covered calls are for people that have carefully cultivated a low cost basis so that if their shares were to get called away, they'll get called away at a profit, or they can afford to roll them out a week and see if things settle down. But yeah, we love the wheel strategy over here. Justin, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. We're just hanging out. It's a casual Friday. I'm excited. No, I'm not excited about GameStop, but I am excited that maybe after hours we get some news on Railtown today. It's up 23%. It was up as high as 25% after languishing here. Look at this. Look at that. That's what do they call that? A God candle? I know we're only talking pennies, but we're hoping this is somebody knows something candle, and that there will be news after hours today about this deal we've been waiting on finally getting announced. Formally closed the deal. We shall see. I don't know. Ah, dang, man, this is depressing. This keeps going down. Chris, you told me it was going to go up today. I'm just teasing. Justin says standard effery going on. Yeah. I'm trying not to say the F word today, Justin. I'm with you. I'm with you guys that want to know what the heck happened yesterday. This end of day sell off and then all through. Wasn't it irritating this morning? Like we couldn't trade and they were running the price down all the way to 25.90. My broker is saying this ticker, you can't trade it right now. Who the hell is trading it then? That is really irritating to me. We managed to recover once the market opened, but now we're getting crushed again. Them's the breaks. Expect the unexpected. Yeah, Ross, my bet at this point on GameStop is as long as it stays above this demand zone, Ross? Because my buy-in was at 21.61. I'm good. If I get a swing on GameStop, I want to be exiting at least above $30. And, you know, if there's some really good news, maybe I get to exit even higher than that in the next year. I mean, good news like, hey, Ryan Cohen found the bestest investment ever. He's going to merge with, I don't know, he's going to merge with someone. He's going to buy PSA. Who knows what the news will be? I think that, you know, if you got a low enough cost basis, and like we said, GameStop seems, based on the latest 10Q, seems to have turned the corner on operating losses. So now we're just counting by the days, waiting for, are they going to have some other better news? And maybe we get next quarter, we find out, hey, the power packs, that brought in a lot of revenue. You know, I don't think it's a bad story. It's not the story it was a year ago. It's not the story it was 2 years ago. It's much better. And as we were talking about last night, I am a trader, I'm an analyst, and I'm happy to change my analysis when I see that the company reports things that have changed. And clearly they have. Anya, what's up? We have not talked about Railtown at length today. Anya, are you still in Croatia? Are you still out of town? We had unexpected God candle on Railtown today. It is Friday. It is post the AI conference that they attended last week. It's post end of month, end of September. Maybe today is finally the day that we get news. But there is no news yet. I'm just guessing. But somebody came in and bought the heck out of it this afternoon, so we'll see. I'm gonna hang out past market close with you guys, and we'll see if Railtown. I've got this little screen here where we can check their press releases and both Canadian filing sites for any updates. So if they have an update after hours, I'll hang out with you guys for maybe an extra 30 minutes and we'll see if we get something. And then knock on wood, Anya, that the market likes it. That's really the next unknown, right? What day do they announce the news, and will the market like the news? We got a double speculative bet. A lot of unknowns in that trade. I was talking to Sparky about it today. He's like, yeah, that's not for me. I was like, Sparky, Railtown is what we call a Tony DeNaro degenerate gambler play. You're just winging it. He's like, not for me, not for me. That's all right. Ross, let's be positive here for a second, Ross. Let's take it back to GameStop and be positive. What if the downward price action today is because of some fuckery going on with the options, if they're position close only, and the market makers are just shedding any hedging they had in place because options are getting closed out at a greater rate than anticipated. And maybe things just turn around on Monday when the full options chain is back, standard and non-standard. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday when traders can trade those GME1 contracts, buy them again. Maybe today's just an anomaly. And maybe we didn't see it yesterday with Bed Bath & Beyond because their options chain, you know, it wasn't Friday. And today it looks like they can trade at least regular options. So you guys, you know, sometimes the options chain can mess up a ticker for better or worse. It can gamma squeeze up and it can reverse squeeze down. could be something like that. Let's think positive. Like, I know it sucks. The story on the screen sucks, but maybe we won't be sitting here having this conversation on Monday. Maybe it's just related to options expiration. Min Lim says, I hope so, on an anomaly. Cross fingers. Anya says they have great food here. What's the home dish of Croatia, Anya? Is seafood? Are you by the coast? My friend Kurt tells me the people over there are super friendly. He told me the food is good. I was all set to go do my first international salsa and bachata and kizomba festival in Croatia many years ago. Kurt had been going for a few years. He's like, Tony, you got to come here. The European chicks, they come from all over. Imagine Sweden, Germany, Denmark, everything. Spain, Italy, Croatia. It's like a smorgasbord. And I was like, all right, I'm down. And then I met my wife, girlfriend at the time. And I was like, well, that trip is off unless we break up before summer. And we didn't break up before summer. And now here we are 10 years later, Anya. And I still haven't been to Croatia, but probably a good thing. JT says, your opinion on CRDP. Is that correct? Creed Corp? I have CRDPF. No, that can't be right. Oh, JT's going to Taylor tonight at AMC. I was looking, just checking in to see how full the Taylor Swift concerts are in my local area. Mostly full, except the 10 o'clock showings, mostly empty. But that'll be a nice little, I mean, there's not really that many great movies out this weekend, so that is very nice to have that Taylor Swift drop in for this 3-day weekend. Baby UFO win moon. I don't know. We're going to run with the theory, my bullish theory, that this is just options Friday related fuckery. And next week is another chance. That's going to be my theory if we end up down today. Not that being down particularly surprises me. You guys know I was not calling for a warrant short squeeze above after October 3rd or 7th. That was kind of probably going to be the peak. But I was not expecting to be down 5.5% on Friday. Anya says dancing is not in Istria, must be on the Dalmatian coast. Well, there's only one coast, right, Anya? I'm going to look it up real quick. International Kizomba. International Kizomba in Croatia. The town it says here is Krikvenica with a C, Crikvnica, Krikvenica. Here's your map, Anya. Looks very pretty. I've seen a lot of pictures. The dance festival is right on the water. Either at a beach or a hotel, I forget which. Looks like a good time. Saffron and white wine sounds almost Spanish, Anya. Dink says, now you know why someone might have sold yesterday could buy back shares today and buy the warrants on distribution and still have money for a nice dinner. Yeah, we were wondering, yesterday, were they selling off at the end of the day because they knew that today the plan was to take it down even more. Baby UFO says GameStop is literally the only BTC treasury not pumping. Yeah, let's look at crypto. Sorry, when you guys mentioned that earlier, I forgot to go look at BTC. 122,000. All-time high was 124,500. We're at 122,500 right now. And GameStop is being hamstrung. So, I mean, we watched GameStop follow Bitcoin pretty closely for the first couple months when they bought it. But in general, the market was not super thrilled with the small purchase they did. And then they did a second bond offering, which I think kind of disconnected them even more. I think the bond traders are in charge of what happens to GameStop's price more so than the Bitcoin fanatics. They kind of moved on, the Bitcoin people. They wanted to see Ryan Cohen buy more Bitcoin. I don't have any criticism of him either way. He's going to do what he thinks is smart for the company in terms of managing risk. But maybe, maybe people think that 4,700 Bitcoin is not enough to really drive this thing. And even if they did, the bond traders have other ideas what they want to do with the price. Remember the bond traders. The reason I keep on harping on these SOBs, they are not betting long-term on GameStop. They don't care about the price. They're not anxious to get the shares. What do they want? They want volatility. They want the price to whipsaw like this because that is how they make their money. They're not making money on interest. You must realize they want volatility. They want to see it shoot up. They want to increase their short as it goes up, and then they want it to whipsaw down so they can make money on the short as it comes down. They're not betting against GameStop. They're playing the volatility, making money every single day while we sit here frustrated. And people want to say these bond traders are the good guys, that they want GameStop to win. They don't care. They're here for one thing, volatility. If it runs up, that's a bonus for them. But at the end of the day, what they really want is volatility. And that's still good for GameStop, right? Because they got all that cash that gives them a lot of things, a lot of opportunity. So it is great for GameStop. It's great for the bond traders when there's volatility. It's frustrating for us. But I'm going to keep saying the inconvenient thing. You know, all these people that have been streaming GameStop for 4 years think it's still the same play. It is not the same play. It's not the same play. You have bigger players with different ideas about what to do with the price than you. And nobody really cares about a short squeeze. They want volatility. If it squeezes, that is a bonus for the bond traders. They can sell their bonds for a healthy gain. They could exercise too, but I don't think they will exercise. Even if they did exercise, what are they going to do with it? It's pumping, it's squeezing, and they exercise. What do you think happens next? They're bond traders. They're going to exercise to sell the shares. But that doesn't make sense because the bond having 5 years of time value left on it, that optionality, that call option like premium, it's smarter just to sell the bond. Same discussion we've been having about warrants. So they would be more likely to sell the bond and say, thanks, let someone else take over the bond. They'd be more likely to sell the bond than to exercise the shares. And even if they did, they'd probably sell the shares. Yeah, baby UFO, I like it. One meow from Roaring Kitty and it could be devastating. I agree with you. I don't think that we should be making our investment thesis around begging Roaring Kitty to come back. But if he came back, I would certainly welcome it and take it. What do we have here? 50 minutes, 5-0. Railtown still holding. GameStop down 5%. Bed Bath & Beyond up 2%. Tesla is down 2.5%. General markets are in the green. NASDAQ is flat. Bitcoin's up. How much is it up, by the way? 2%. All right. And all the movie theater stocks are up. Except AMC. God dang it. God dang it. I feel bad for the AMC hodlers. Justin says, not if Roaring Kitty comes back, but when he comes back. Do you guys think that Roaring Kitty still owns his GameStop shares? Is he gonna drop a little live stream letting us know he's got all those warrants now? Six Sun says GameStop's back up, going back up. Yeah, we hit a little springboard here, Six Sun. Thank God. GME is re-engaging, sir. I love it. Anton, what's up? He says, Keith must show us the warrants at some point or he will lose any future credibility. I'd be okay if he sold, if he was able to lock in some gains and then patiently sit back and find a point to re-enter. I do think he exited the trade, but I'm hopeful that he re-entered the trade. That's kind of where I'm at. Remember when that whole Chewy and Unity software thing was going on? I think he took a temporary exit from GameStop, but I am hopeful that he came back and that he'll drop us some clue at some point if his lawyers don't have him zip tied. Dan says the dilutions have decreased his position so that gives him buffer to add without becoming a board member. Yeah, I haven't looked at GameStop's articles of incorporation. Like, what does it take to be a board member at GameStop? Do they have? Can you demand by being a certain percentage owner that they give you a board seat? Do they still have to approve you? I don't know with GameStop. I never thought about him demanding to be a board member, but I think it would be kind of interesting if they gave him an honorary board seat, honorary cheerleader. Do you think he'd lose his effectiveness though? Because once you're on the board, you pretty much can't say shit. He wouldn't be able to say anything. Too many insider trading rules to worry about. SEC. Baby UFO says Schwab disabled the GME options chain. I think they all did, baby. Until Monday. Their position close only, which is our leading theory of why the price got smashed down today on options expiration. Because nobody can do any options trading other than sell. And if you're unloading options, then the market makers can unload their hedge, the options market makers. And that just becomes a self-fulfilling run down in the price. Who are they selling to? If you were like you or me and we had a call, the only one to sell to, I would guess, is the market maker. Blessed says, but that is a good question. Like, are there some institutions that are allowed to buy options? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Board of director members must have a silent passion for rug pulling their investors. Oh, Lord. I'm not that cynical about GameStop. I think that the board and the executives, I do think they don't care about a short squeeze, but I think that they have the best interest of long-term shareholders at heart, and that they have some long-term strategy, and most retail traders are not synchronized, not able to understand. They might have to wait a while longer. And I'm not saying wait for a short squeeze. I'm saying wait for a transformation of the company. We're seeing progress. We've seen Ryan Cohen make relentless cost-cutting decisions to get the company profitable. Hats off to him. And trying different things over the years. Finally stumbled upon this Power Pack PSA partnership thing. Seems to be one of his best ideas. And I'm really excited to see how this quarter goes with that. All right, Spiz says options are up on Fidelity. Can you buy them, Spiz? $25.79 down $1.44. And we got 45 minutes to go. Let's see what is being said on Super Stonk. Oh, Lord. Towel warrant as swap. Not sure swaps handled the same as before, as what the stock is equal to what stock, etc. Not sure many investors are interested in towel stocks. He's talking about BBBY. Easy for the big boys to rotate into towel for the warrant. Get it and rotate out. Maybe. I don't know. Reverse repo. Yeah. Well, simple. No contracts available. Turn on non-standard trading. Non-standard options. But you can't buy them anyways, probably. A call for kindness. Let's drop the gatekeeping, apes. What's this gentleman have to say? Hey, apes, I'm writing this because I've been seeing a lot of posts and comments lately that are frankly starting to feel like gatekeeping. Boy, you should come check out YouTube. We got gatekeepers galore. We all know the mantra. He says DRS is a powerful tool. For those that have done it, that's fantastic. We've made our choice and are confident in it. But not everyone can or wants to. I like this guy. He's reasonable. Good job, my friend. No options. Warrants if I buy today. No, you're not getting warrants if you buy today. What else we got here? Everybody's obsessed with warrants. Does the shelf offering mean Ryan Cohen expects it to run so he can sell into it? No, because there was already a pre-existing shelf since May of 2024. Today's filing was nothing new other than a couple of administrative changes to a pre-existing shelf. Don't read too much into it. That shelf from May 2024 is good for 3 years. Today was nothing new. You're only telling me that you don't pay attention to filings and that you didn't know that this one existed. May 17th, 2024. Got to read the filings, ladies and gentlemen. What else we got here? Reverse repo. No options. Still pissed, this guy says. What are you mad about? Let's see what our friend is mad about. Still waiting, still holding. We can hold longer than they can stay solvent. It feels like the tides are turning. I agree with that part. Expect everything. Yeah, I've been saying to you guys, expect the unexpected. All right. He's mad, but he's got the right frame of mind. Be patient. Expect the unexpected. Most of what you're being told on social media is incorrect. So if you expect the unexpected, you'll probably be correct. Shares to borrow on GME, GMEU, and XRT are way down. Okay, noted. Price is down too. So what are we supposed to take from that? Bears beware. Did you receive this? IBKR. Liquidity on the new options chain is horrible. If only this person listened to our live stream at any point in the last couple of weeks where we talked about the new options chain having worse liquidity, wider spreads, and suboptimal to hold, he might not be surprised. They are non-standard options, and you're going to have worse liquidity until they expire. You're going to have wider spreads, and they will be suboptimal. People are going to talk up, oh, but the warrants are attached. Okay, but they're still going to have worse liquidity and wider spreads, and they still will be suboptimal. The duality of man. Make it make sense. 4 hours ago. Make what make? GameStop was down. How can something be down 15% and up 24%? Oh yeah, that is a weird headline. I agree with you, Mr. IGB. GME sells S3 to have the ability to sell warrants whenever they want. Newsflash, friend. They've had that ability since May of 2024, at least, probably before that. Here's warrants. By the way, guys, just a little side note. This is a very common mixed shelf. AMC has the same thing, by the way. Many companies, most companies, many at least, have mixed shelf offerings. There is absolutely zero unique, special tinfoil about this filing. Not in 2024 and not today. It's very common. And it makes me sad to read things like this. Like this guy actually thought today was something new. No, not There's not a new ability to sell warrants. He can sell a lot of shit and has been able to for a long time. Warrants, warrants, warrants. Any and all warrants you see are fake. Ooh, what is this? As you will, yeah, some brokers and I guess maybe ComputerShare are putting placeholders. You might see some prices. I've seen some of these grifters posting on Twitter saying, look, the warrants are worth $13.53. That is just bullshit because the warrants haven't been priced or distributed yet. We won't know exactly what they're worth until Tuesday when we see what GameStop's worth. Shares available to short are slowly running out. He was so confident, yet somehow the price got walked down all day. Hadouken, how you doing? Dink says you missed my E-Trade comment up above. All right, let me find it, Dink. In E-Trade, you just have to call to trade the options. Standard for, oh. Well, that is good. If you guys have some options, wait, you have to call to trade. You can buy if you call them. That is something I have not checked on, and if that is the case, thank you very much for educating everybody. If you want to buy options, call your broker and see if you can. Dan D says 5% you must report, but not necessarily a board member. I believe that is correct. Hadouken says, Tony, if one has warrants, can't one sell covered calls against the underlying? As if they were some sort of poor man's covered call? I don't know. That is an interesting question. No, I mean, you want a poor man's covered call to be a strike that is deep in the money, like a $15 strike. I don't know that it would make sense to sell covered calls against the warrants. Rubes, how you doing? He says you picked up a breadcrumb on AMC with the word relentless. Is there a breadcrumb in this filing for investment company? I would say yes, Rubes. Yes. In GameStop's updated S3, there was this one from 2024, and there is the new one today, and there were a couple things that were breadcrumbs in here. And I'm not going all tinfoil, but they added debt securities into the mixed shelf. So we have 8 different securities. This is probably just to make it faster if they decide they want to issue more debt. Now they've already got it pre-approved. Doesn't mean that we should expect more debt. I want to be clear. Just because these are on here doesn't mean you should expect that you're going to get more debt or units or rights offering. But everything is open. At GameStop's convenience. They have ultimate flexibility. And the other things that we noticed were different is down here in the risk section on page 6 and 7 related to Bitcoin, related to updated risks about convertible notes. And as you mentioned, updated notification that they may have more burdensome compliance if they are deemed to be an investment company under the ICA. This is something I've been seeing bobble around out there, people talking about this. And to be honest, I have not looked to see at what point do you become burdened by additional compliance requirements. So I'm going to make that one of my weekend to-do list things. I think that'd be interesting. Maybe you guys already know, maybe you already know who asked the question, but I don't know what are the checklist things that say, oh, now you got to comply with these extra regulations or reporting requirements. But yeah, I mean, it could be foreshadowing. Absolutely. Attican says, example, 100 warrants on 1,000 shares, sell one $32 strike covered call against the shares. If called away on the run-up, exercise the warrant. I would say sell the warrant, not exercise it. You'll make more money selling the warrant, Attican, because you have the time value. And then you could use that money, pocket enough to take your wife out to dinner, and use the remainder to go back and buy the shares. Remember, if you exercise, you're giving up the time value of the warrant. Dan says, it seems like the updated S3 filing comes at an interesting time of reporting day for the warrants. That is true, and I don't know if they have a super secret plan and therefore they wanted to get this out there, or if it was related just, hey, we want to get all the risks out there because we're about to issue a new security. We're about to issue a new prospectus. There will be a prospectus Monday or Tuesday, maybe even after hours today, regarding the warrants. Maybe they just wanted to make sure they were copacetic with the SEC. They attached all of the recent filings to this S3 this morning. They attached the latest 10K, all the latest 10Qs, all the latest 8Ks. All of those got attached, and the risks got updated. And maybe that's just checking boxes, because a lot's happened with GameStop in the last year since the last S3. This could just be administrative, like making sure all the lawyers are happy. Ryan, go update this shit before you issue those warrants, before we issue the warrant prospectus. It could be as simple and benign as that. And I think that is a legitimate answer, because so much has changed since May of 2024. They might just be checking boxes. But there could, I'll allow the tinfoil. There could be some greater plan too. In which case, you know, why the timing? Why today? It kind of pissed some people off. I don't know. If it was checking boxes administratively, make the lawyers happy before the warrant prospectus, not much they could do about it. It's got to be done before the 7th anyways. Dan says it could be either one. Yeah, I'm not smart enough to figure out which it is, but my guess, if you and I wanted to make a bet, I'm going to say they're just checking administrative boxes to keep the lawyers happy ahead of Tuesday's prospectus. Because Bed Bath & Beyond didn't issue an updated S3. They have an S3. Since when? Wait, wrong screen. View filings, S3. They issued theirs in June of 2024, so a month after GameStop. See, they're copying GameStop again. They have the same mixed shelf, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 6 different types of securities on here. They don't have subscription rights, and they don't have, what else has GameStop got on here? Purchase contracts. Oh, no, they do. Common preferred debt warrants purchase contracts units. All right, let's do a memory exercise here. Common preferred debt. Depository shares. They don't have depository shares. So, yeah, but not that much has changed with Bed Bath & Beyond. So maybe they didn't need to update their S3. Did you guys see that Bed Bath & Beyond did include a optionality for the company to call their warrants early. Did you guys see that? I'm very curious if GameStop is going to sneak that in before Monday or Tuesday. Totally would not surprise me if they sneak in an ability for the company to expire the warrants early. If say GameStop were to go over $38 for 20 out of 30 days, we're going to expire the warrants early. That would be great for GameStop because they could get their 1.9 billion and knock it out and not have to wait till October 30th, 2026. Bed Bath & Beyond did sneak that in at the last minute. GameStop might. They also might include an option to extend the warrants another year. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for the updated FAQ or an updated prospectus on the warrants in the next today, Monday, Tuesday. Justin says Ryan Cohen buyback after hours would be cool. If he buys back shares, Justin, I will send you a case of my favorite Texas beer. I am not predicting or expecting any share buybacks from the company. Now, if you're telling me Ryan Cohen is going to buy more shares for himself personally, that I would say is always a possibility. But GameStop, the company, buying back shares, I would say very remote. Almost don't even think about it. At these price levels, no. Ryan Cohen buying them? Knock yourself out, Ryan. You know where we're headed. But yeah, not the best use of cash for GameStop, the company, to buy back shares at this price level. I'd rather they use the cash to invest in a business. Rube says, Tony, I want to buy into the close, but I hear some say the trend doesn't end on Friday. Let's see if there's new shorting next week. I'm going to tell you my leading theory, and I have no idea if this is correct. But my leading theory is that reduced ability of option traders to buy today, and many people thinking that their only option was to sell to close options. And a lot of people couldn't even find the options chain, right? They don't have this little box turned on. They wake up and they're like, all the options are gone. I have nothing to buy. Got to turn on non-standard. It could just be, we could be seeing the options chain on a Friday and lack of options trading driving the price down. That's my most bullish theory I got for you. I have no idea if it's correct, but it works for me today until we get more news. and we'll know, if next week things seem like they're back to normal and we get a green candle next week, then that's what I'm going to blame today on, the options chain. Neil says a few other things changed on the S3. They added acquisition to a use of proceeds. Thank you, Neil. I think they added that into the 10Qs also, but correct me if I'm wrong. And he says also copied the filing to White & Case LLP, which I believe is an acquisition specialist. All right, let's take a look at that. I did not open up those attachments. I saw the White & Co. White & Case attachment at the bottom, but it was like 5:30 this morning and I was just trying to quickly look and see with my eyeballs what was different. Imagine reading all of these in bed at 5:30 in the morning, whenever it was, 6, on your iPad, and then having to compare side by side. I might have missed some stuff, and I certainly didn't open these up. We got 2 opinions for White & Case. Which one are we looking at? As to the legality of the securities and included as consent. Included as part of this. All right, let's just see what we got here. That, I mean, for me, I don't go in and research. I know the Bed Bath & Beyond people got really heavy into this. Let's research the website of this attorney. And if it has one mention on the entire website about mergers and acquisitions, we've solved the case for Bed Bath & Beyond /Q. I don't do that. I mean, I'm not going to go look up White and Case. When the letter here is just saying they've reviewed this SEC filing and that it meets all requirements. Remember, securities attorneys they can do a lot of different things. Just because we find the word merger and acquisition on their website doesn't mean that some hidden gem for us. Yeah, this looks like standard, to me, standard boilerplate stuff. With respect to common, with respect to preferred, with respect to debt securities, this is new, so let's read this paragraph. They do mention presented for conversion. I mean, it seems like they're giving themselves the wiggle room to do more convertibles down the road. That'd be cool. I'm not going to do that deep of a tinfoil with you, Neil, but I'm not going to try and talk you out of it either. I just don't do the let's go hunt down somebody's website. And you know how some YouTubers go, oh, look at this board member, and they go look at 20 years ago they worked for Apollo. Therefore, they're a bad person for the rest of their life. I don't do that kind of. Everybody works with everybody on Wall Street. Hello. Everyone's worked for JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Deloitte. You know, it's a small community. and yeah, you're going to hire people you know. Welcome to corporate life. Dan says speculation, but what if the board chooses to immediately exercise all the warrants using its own cash? Well, the warrants are distributed to shareholders. So the board, you mean if the board members that own shares immediately exercise the warrants that were given to them? I'm confused. Or are you talking about all 59 million warrants? Because they can't exercise your warrant. They can, if a provision is in the document that they could call an early expiration, they could do that. They could force you to exercise. That's what happened with Enovix. It was over the trigger price for 20 days, and they said, hey, we're sending you this letter, and in 24 hours, your warrants will expire. We know they've only been out for 2 months, but you have 24 hours to come up with the money to exercise or they will expire. Poof, gone. We could see something like that from GameStop. Like that's something we need to look for when the final document drops. But no, the board can't. They could do an early expiration. They can't force you to exercise. And they can't spend their money to exercise. Hmm. 15 minutes. Let's check in on our little baby OTC stock. Railtown, 56 cents. It's held up there all day. I like it. Come on, please. Let's say a quick prayer with me, guys. I've watched some other YouTube channels. There are literally people that have invested in this stock. If you believe them, collectively, their little group of YouTube commenters, they have 12 million shares invested in this stock, which would be $6 million collectively among 30 people. I mean, God love them. If you got a group of 30 people that are willing to put $6 million into a non-revenue OTC stock, I'm praying for all of them that this news is good today and the market sends this thing. Send it to $1 or $2 or $5. The YouTubers are telling them it's going to 20. I don't know about all that. I don't do the price target thing because I haven't even seen the deal details yet. But you know, any green here would be good. A news announcement after market close today would be hopefully good. And then we pray that the market likes the news. Please, Lord, take care of these people who have thrown caution to the wind. Bless them with luck and prosperity. I am in that group, but not $6 million worth. Are you kidding me? On a pre-revenue company? Where I haven't even seen the deal details? I mean, I like degenerate gambling plays, but I mean, we're talking the most speculative you can get right here. The good thing is, you know, if those things work out, if luck is on our side, you can get a nice little run up. So we will see. No promises. Michael says, Tony, what do you think of DraftKings that Cathie Woods bought 500,000 shares on this dip on Tuesday? I used to really worship Cathie Woods, Michael, and then I saw her make a lot of bad decisions. So I don't know if I'm super bullish on every Cathie Woods decision, but I mean, she still has a decent following. That is a healthy dip. I might need to go look into that one myself. I keep on looking at DraftKings. I've been looking at it for years, and I keep on talking myself out of dabbling in it. Because every time I look at it, it's going down, and then when I look at it, it's too late, and it's already running back up. Apparently, I've drawn supply and demand zones at some point, and I told myself that if it ever gets back down to about $31, that I should pick up some shares. Do I have an alarm set? Yeah, I have an alarm set for price below $33. That's where I will be interested to answer your question. Make sure and hit me up. If I miss my alert, hit me up. Bug me. Tony, you said you'd start paying attention. I'd really like to buy around 31 and change, but I'm going to start paying attention when my alert goes off at 33. That's where I'm at on DraftKings. Dink says, I guess he's talking Railtown. I won't even buy a share with your money. Baby UFO says he got 3 April 17th $30 strike calls. Are we talking GameStop, baby? You were able to buy? April 17th $30 strikes. Trading at 325 and 280. Why is the bid in front of the ask? Get over there. Down 20% on the day. Yeah, I mean, if next week, if we're right that today is a anomaly because of lack of liquidity on the options chain and people just selling, then maybe next week is a good week. And if not, you have till April to see if Ryan Cohen drops some good news. So good luck to you. Sending good thoughts your way. We are winding down the last 10 minutes here now. We attempted a little rally at 3 p.m. Eastern, but it got smashed. We're back down now to 25.59. And Baby UFO says you can buy if you call. And so he is reiterating the DD shared with us from Dink. If you are interested in picking up some call options on this juicy dip and you're thinking next week might be better, if you're thinking that this is just some anomaly related to the weird options chain today, forcing people to call in to buy and thinking they can only sell, maybe you call your broker right now in the last 10 minutes and take a gamble. Rube says, there is the end of the day flush. Do I have a flush on here? Do I have a flush? What is this? Not quite a flush, but I think it gets the point across.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Rube says, I love the sound we use for one. Yeah, I have a whole, on my Stream Deck here, I've got a whole set of sound effects or trolls.
Chinga tu madre! Bye, Felicia!
What is this one? Oh. Yeah, we haven't used the drums for one and kicked him off the island because he's entertaining. We like having some trolls. Sethan says, is 2550 max pain? That is a good question. Let's see if we can answer that. I don't know. Swaggy. Yeah, that's what it says, 2550. There might be other websites that Blessed says it's 26. Let me check one other. Max pain. Chart Exchange says $26. So both of y'all are right. Holy fuck, man. We just got a doom candle here. Oh my gosh. That is unfortunate. No, you're right, Blessed. Chart Exchange definitely says Max Payne, GameStop, October 3rd, $26. They must have a slightly different calculator. Baby UFO says, come to Papa. I hear that there are people begging for it to go down so they can buy more. I just feel bad. Personally, I feel bad for the people that have been posting all their buys. Like we see this in so many tickers, like proud to buy at $28. Take that, shorts. Like, guys, literally all you got to do is unplug from social media, utilize a little patience, let the volatility chill out, and you can pick up shares cheap. If you're proud to buy at 28, how much prouder would you have been to buy at 25, or maybe 23 next week? Like, we got to get over this bragging. Like, I got the most expensive shares this week. I want to see you bragging about getting a good deal. If you're buying at 28, you probably already got enough shares. You're probably a strong believer in GameStop. And I want to see you wait for opportunities to decrease your cost basis, not increase it. Not bragging to buy at the top. Just learn a little bit of patience. Disconnect from social media. Hype. Use common sense. And then buy. Rye, thank you for the sub. Guys, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that sub button. Hit the alerts. I'll be around this weekend. We're going to look into that Investment Company Act thing. We'll be around here today. I'm getting really, really hungry. But I'm going to hang out just long enough to see if we get any Railtown news dropping after hours. And while we're watching that, we can see what happens with GameStop after hours. If our options theory is correct, we should see... Should we see some... the price go back up after market close? What do y'all think? That the rundown today was just related to options expiration? That's my theory, Michael, that it has to do with the lack of liquidity in the options chain today. The amount of people who thought they couldn't buy options. It could also be related to the timing of the shelf offering, yeah. Although I don't think that was a planned, like, we're gonna fuck shareholders type thing. I don't think GameStop was doing that. As we were saying earlier, I think it's just like checking the boxes with the lawyers ahead of the prospectus for the warrants that will be filed next week, or maybe even after hours today. But it is unfortunate timing. I got it. I agree. Yeah, maybe Sunday low key. I'm gonna say I don't have any expectations for after hours today, but I'm hopeful that Monday things turn the other way. Because I'm going to go into this whole weekend telling you that this was related to people misunderstanding the S3. It is not anything new. There was already one filed a year ago. So misunderstanding. And I'm going to say it was related to the options chain not being able to be traded by many people. Even if they made a mistake, they being the people, like not realizing, oh, I got to turn on non-standard, or oh, I got to call my broker to buy. That could have been enough. The combination of those two things could have been enough to sink the ticker today, and maybe maybe we can look forward to some positivity and change in direction on Monday. I'd prefer to be positive like that all weekend, and then we'll see what happens. 1 minute to go. UK Dave says warrants will probably end up being as a non-event. I mean, it was not a non-event. You had a run up from $22 to $28. If you were a non-greedy swing trader, that was a great opportunity. For some options traders, call options buyers who bought in low volatility and then sold into the run up of 28, or people that sold covered calls as it ran up and the IV increased. Great opportunities to make money here. Great opportunities, but those opportunities may now be past. For those, I've been very clear that I was not expecting a warrant squeeze, and for the people expecting that, yeah, that might not be the event. That event might be a non-event. But I mean, there were definitely some trading opportunities. Not what you were told by most of social media. Bless says this puts us back below the 200 SMA. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me check. Let me just double. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that for Monday, but I'm going to still be positive and say this was related to people misunderstanding the S3 and options chain illiquidity. And then if we get another red candle on Monday, then that was clearly the wrong theory, my theory. Let's look at the weekly. We fell below the 50 on the weekly, but we're still above the 200. God, man, that's a nasty red candle on the weekly. Well, I mean, it's not optimal. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it, but we're not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. We need one more data point, but it's tough for me to say we're in a bullish setup. I can't say that. We're kind of in no man's land till the next candle. Rube says check out the 4 hour. All right, let's do that. Yeah, 4 hour looks a little better if we're looking at the moving averages, and we're still above the 50 and the 200 on that. So note to YouTubers, if you're watching this channel for your DD talking points, make sure and only show the 4 hour chart. That is the best one. Don't look at the rest. You could make a good bullish story right here. Just stick to this one. Dink says, yeah, the company who had board and CEO who work without pay and hold shares would actively try to fuck shareholders. Yeah, I don't think with that S3, they were not trying to screw people over. We're going to say that was administrative, making the lawyers happy. Lots has changed since the S3 filing a year ago. They needed to update and add as reference all of the recent filings, including recent 8Ks, convertible notes, Bitcoin, update the risks, and now they're in the clear to drop the warrant prospectus on Tuesday. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't have to hate Ryan Cohen or GameStop. Oh, look at this. Look at this, Dink. Railtown closed at 56 cents. Strong into the close. do I try and open the present early or do I wait a few more minutes? It's 4:03 Eastern. Let's hit the F5 button. Any news? No. Nothing yet. All right, let's come back to this in 5 minutes. Railtown does not trade after hours, so there will be no further price updates other than it closed up 24%. I like that. And we will check for the next hour to see if they drop any news. But I'm not going to be here for the next hour because I'm starving. I made a mixed green salad with Italian croutons, some chopped up chicken breast, some diced tomatoes, and a mango vinaigrette. That was my lunch. You can imagine I'm starving. It was only about 3 ounces of chicken. I was like finishing off some chicken we had in the fridge. Now, today, we get to go work on that tenderloin I cooked the other day. We got at least 1.5 pounds of that left. No salad. We're going all meat for the lunch, the late lunch. Crypto closing, well, I mean, it's 24 hours, but at market close here for crypto, 122.3. Not a bad day. AMC closed in the red. Tesla down 1.5%. Bed Bath & Beyond closed in the green. Just GameStop got spanked. I'm going to be here for 4 more minutes if you have any last minute questions. And I need to eat because that energy drink has me jittery and sweaty, and I need to get some food in me. You ever have like a double Red Bull or a Monster or a Celsius on an empty stomach, and all of a sudden the caffeine hits you? You're like, ugh. That's where we're at right now. Justin, thank you. Have a good evening. I'll see y'all around this weekend if y'all are taking off already. Let's see if we got any interesting last minute posts on Reddit here in light of that close. Thump, and now is gone 26 minutes ago. Yeah, not really much. Nobody's got much to say. Sethan says, energy drinks were my gig until kidney stones shows violence. Yeah, I've had some friends that have kidney stones, and watching them suffer, I would say I don't wish that upon anybody. These are like my backup. I try and keep like 3 in the fridge on those days where the morning cup of coffee is not doing it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't feel like having a hot drink because it's 90 degrees outside. I'll have a cold energy drink, but I don't drink them every day. Today was rough because I only slept like 5 hours last night. I will probably eat some lunch and then try and take a 1 hour nap. No yawning on YouTube. What's up, Sparky? Yeah, if we're going to be around for an evening live stream tonight, or if Scarlett and I are going to go see a movie, I'm going to need either another energy drink or a nap. And I think, one energy drink is enough for the day. a quick power nap and I'll be good to go till midnight. Rube says, I enjoy your videos more than I ever did Richard Newton's. I know who you're shitting on when you say Doritos. I try not to shit on anybody, but I mean, when you're talking about nonsensical stuff, I think most of the audience gets that it's just for entertainment, but they play along, you know, like the Emperor's doesn't have any clothes, but they just pretend that he does. I'm not talking about Richard Newton. I actually enjoyed Richard Newton being very transparent about who he was and what he thought. And I didn't watch his channel often. I don't watch most people often, especially if he's putting out these very, very, very long videos. But he seemed like a decent guy to me, and I appreciate that about him. And I understand a lot of y'all are sad to see him go, and I get it. There's not that many decent people on YouTube covering GameStop. Last check-in on Railtown, and you know, if there is news later in the next hour, I'll do a video update, or maybe we'll talk about it tonight. But as of right now, we had a 25% run up on Railtown and no news. We can always hope that in the next hour that they drop something. But it appears as of right now, nothing. Nothing. Oh, I mean, can't complain about being up 24.5%. Spiz says, quick question. You mentioned the other day most options don't get exercised. Was that referring to all options or all options in the money? All options. All options. About, let's just say roughly 80% will either be closed out. You know, if you buy a call option, then you sell to close, or you sell a call option and you buy to close. 80% will be closed out to take profits or just expire worthless. A small percentage of them will be exercised, but we're talking the entirety of options. All right, y'all. Leave me a comment if you want, if you're interested in a live stream later this evening or this weekend, and let's see what other news develops on this ticker and others. And I thank you guys for hanging out with us this afternoon. All the great questions, great conversation. Thank you to the new subs. Thank you for supporting the channel. And we're going to continue the warrant coverage for a couple more days, because this is just an uncommon event, especially with two companies doing essentially the same warrant side by side on the same fucking dates. Oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't going to cuss. The same dang dates. It's fascinating stuff. So we will keep it up for at least through Tuesday. And we'll see what happens. And then I think we'll all know who was giving hopium and who was correct on keeping your expectations in check. Some fantastic opportunities for traders up until this point, though. From September 9th, like I said, you had opportunity to trade $5 range, 23 to 28. If you're not a buy and holder, if you're a trader or a options trader, this is, or a bond trader, right, Sparky? Fantastic volatility. If you're a buy and hold person, you're probably a little disappointed. But we're going to cross fingers that today was an anomaly related to the options chain and the S3. And we will pray for all of y'all that Monday is a new day. Next week is a new week. Anya, thank you for hanging out. I have not looked at Mob before, Michael. I like the chart. I really like the chart. All right, we'll add it as one to go dig into. It says I'm following it. Where am I following it? My watch list, retail. Apparently I did look at it at one point, but I don't have anything drawn on here. So I didn't look at it close enough. Probably when I was looking at it, it was probably in this cycle or this one. Should have done more DD and set some alerts. But yeah, thank you for the heads up on that. Worth another look, it looks like, based on the chart. We need to go dig in and do some DD. Anya, you go have a double espresso, Anya. I got to get some food. We love you guys. Thank you. I say we, me and Scarlett. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions and your support. And let's go out on a positive up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short squeeze plays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. It's us on the rise. It can't be denied. Up and to the right. Through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Our ass is in sight. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. It's us on the rise. It can't be denied. Up and to the right. Through the day and night. Together we'll soar. More assets in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, more assets in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Our value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.